Installment number 2 in the Big Bore Black Rifle series. We initially introduced you to a few of the first 2 participants, the CMMG Anvil in 458 SOCOM and a Wyndham Weaponry Thumper 450 Bushmaster pistol. Today, the 2 that we're introducing are from the godfather of the big bore himself, Tony Rumor from Tromix. Now, Tony has been working on big bore rifle projects for longer than I've known him, and that's more than 20 years. And he's really the godfather of this platform. He started stretching out the capabilities of these guns, not just black rifles, AKs and plenty of other ones that we're going to talk about a little bit later on. And he agreed to help us kind of set some facts straight, get rid of some internet lore and urban legend, and put some fact back in this. Later on in the series, we're going to talk to Tony, and we're going to get it straight from the mouth of the godfather of the big bore himself. So the 2 that we're introducing today are a 458 SOCOM, and this is, again, from Tromix. This is a really neat piece. Something a little bit different than the CMMG Anvil that we're going to be looking at a little bit more in depth. This is a standard size, AR-15 size platform. And because this is so much more common than the AR-10 size or the Anvil Mutant kind of in-between size, we absolutely have to include this. These are probably the most popular size, definitely the most popular rifle in the United States for several years, so we can't overlook it. Now, this isn't just an AR-15 chambered in 458. This is made for 458, and everything about it is specific to this build, including something really cool and fairly new. This is Tony's, or Tromix's, I should say, new linear compensator, and this thing is really, really cool, and it helps push the recoil back, which those of you that shoot these really neat 458s and big bore ARs know. After a while, the recoil is, well, the recoil's enough. Things that recoil a lot are fun to pass around to your friends at the range, but if it's something you've got to shoot a lot, and it's something that you want to get a follow-up shot with, having muzzle control is really of the utmost importance, and that's what this piece does. Now, this one we've topped off with a Alight M21 Reflex sight, and I really like these for the big bore ARs. There's no magnification because these particular guns are something I'm shooting always within 200 yards, and the magnification typically isn't necessary, and it allows you, just like any other sight without magnification, to get on target fast and to keep both eyes open so you have that peripheral vision. You've got a nice wide field of view all the time. The M21 is a nice piece, and it is a dual powered sight. It works with tritium, so it's charged all the time, it doesn't need any batteries, and you've got a very low light reticle inside always. And for days like today, where the sun actually comes out, it has fiber optics in it. So that picks it up, and it really brightens the reticle up. And yes, for those of you that have a good eye, this gun absolutely has the Law Tactical folding stock on it. I try to use that on most of the guns that I can. I really, really like it for storage or carrying it or transporting it. It breaks it down into such a small package, and it's nice. It's a really nice piece. They do a great job at Law Tactical. Let's get a couple rounds downrange with the 458 on the Tromix 458 SOCOM upper. I have no doubt in my mind that if I do what I'm supposed to do, you'll be able to hear it thumping those shootsteel.com targets just fine. We're at the same distance we were last time, or a little bit further back, right around 50 yards. Isn't that awesome? Let's take a peek at the second one that we brought out today that is quite different, but has a lot in common with the 458 SOCOM. This little beauty is the 375 SOCOM, and it's a short-barreled rifle as well, obviously on a Law Tactical lower. And this is another caliber that was designed by Tony, and the 375 fits a really cool place. Now, he was looking for something that had the stopping power similar to the 458, but a ballistic coefficient a little bit better. So it wasn't so much like lobbing artillery at long distances. It was something that you could shoot at 200 or 300 or even 400 yards if you needed to, and not have to aim at the skyline. So, and we're going to be doing that a little bit later on. Once the snowpack melts around here and we can get out to the long range, we'll be illustrating what the drop is and how different it is, and show where this thing really fits in. So his idea was to kind of find the perfect round between the 458, which has a massive amount of stopping power and is great at reasonably close distances, and the 300 Blackout, which has a great ballistic coefficient, especially in its supersonic loadings, and travels a long ways, and it hits pretty good. The 375 SOCOM hits like a ton of bricks, and it flies much straighter than the 458. So this again is Tony's idea of something to kind of fit in the middle, give you all of that stopping power that you want, and give you the ability to hit at multiple distances and longer distances. Let's put a few rounds on the steel with the 375 SOCOM, and let's talk a little bit about muzzle energy and try to help each other understand how powerful these things really are, especially when they're compared to rounds that are used a little bit more commonly. We've heard an awful lot in the news lately about, you know, these incredibly powerful 223 rounds and how they're too strong for, you know, civilian use or hunting or anything. What a load of hogwash. You know, that's a varmint round. These things, these have some energy. Let's put a few rounds. Let's see if I can get them on the steel. And with this one, we're using a Meprolite as well. This particular one is an electric sight. It's a red dot, so it's not tritium and it's not fiber optic. It actually uses a battery. The thing I like about it is it has a setting that goes down into the infrared spectrum. So while with the naked eye it might appear to have two off settings, the second setting, when it's all the way down on the number 4, works fantastic with night vision behind it. All right, let's see if I can hit the steel, and we'll talk about muzzle energy a little bit. The trigger in this thing is really touchy, very light. It's one of those TACCON M3R triggers that has the 3 positions in it, and you want to remember you're shooting something with such a light trigger when you're shooting such a big bore gun that has a reasonable amount of recoil. So let's talk about muzzle energy. I've got a quick chart, a graph that I put up, as well as a comparison of, I don't know, maybe 20 rounds, including some common rounds, 5.56 rounds and 300 Blackout rounds, and then some of the rounds that we're using for this testing. The 375 SOCOM, the 450 Bushmaster, the 458 SOCOM. And if you're wondering if this kind of ammo is right for you, if you're concerned it might be a wildcat or hard to get, man, oh man, think again. There is a lot of support for both of these calibers, all three, the 375, the 450 Bushmaster, and the 458. Just for this testing, we're using Inceptor ammo, we're using Black Butterfly ammo, we're using Strike Force ammunition, we're using SBR ammunition, and we've got some others that we didn't bring out. We're using Hornady ammunition. There's all kinds of support for this stuff now. So if you're like me and you're not a reloader but more of an unloader, you don't have to shy away from these calibers at all. So muzzle energy. Now 5.56, the one that we're hearing so much about being so ridiculously powerful, shows you how moronic they are in the media. A 55 grain round, the XM193, 55 grains, traveling at 3,165 feet per second, is creating 1,224 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. The M855, another common round and a current one actually, at 62 grains, traveling at 2,927 feet per second, is making 1,180 foot-pounds of energy. So we'll use that kind of as a baseline. Now, 378 SOCOM. We actually studied the 375 SOCOM about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and we focused on the subsonic loadings. For purposes of this, we're going to be adding the supersonic loadings, and that's where these things really wake up. Just a couple examples. And I'll have this chart, this list, I'll put it up on the screen at the end of the video for like 5 seconds, so you've got time to pause it if it's something that you want to study yourself. But we'll start with 375 SOCOM, 200 grain at 2,200 feet per second, 2,150 foot-pounds, you know, compared to 11 to 1,200 with the 5.56. 250 grain at 2,125 feet per second, 2,507 foot-pounds of energy. Again, the 375. Looking at 450 Bushmaster. Let me pick some out of here. 160 grain at 2,775 feet per second. And that's a really cool black butterfly round. 2,763 foot-pounds. Yeah, a little more than 11 or 1,200. The Hornady, that's a really common one. 450 Bushmaster, 250 grains at 2,200 feet per second, 2,686 foot-pounds of energy. 458 SOCOM. Where this stuff really excites me is the ability to shoot subsonic loads and still have some energy. Because you know as well as I do, when we're limited to say 1,050 feet per second or so we're not breaking the speed of sound, we have a finite amount of muzzle velocity. So the only thing we can do, or one of the most effective things we can do to increase the muzzle energy, is to add weight. And with 458 SOCOM, 400 grains, 500 grains, 600 grains through Black Butterfly, brand new one they just came up with, and you've still got some muzzle energy to knock down your game, especially you wild boar guys. You want backup rounds and additional rounds, you want some muzzle energy, and you want DRT performance, 458 SOCOM is pretty awesome. So let's look at a few of the big ones. 300 grain at 1,840 feet per second, 2,256 foot-pounds of energy. 400 grains at 1,515 feet per second, again over 2,039 foot-pounds of energy. 500 grains, here's a subsonic load, 980 feet per second, so we're going to be just below the speed of sound. You've still got over 1,000 foot-pounds of energy with that. 500 grains, 1,066 foot-pounds of energy. And 600 grain, if you really want to build up that number and you want to stay slow at 1,000 feet per second, 1,332 foot-pounds of energy. So with a subsonic round, you've got more energy than that little 5.56 does in its best supersonic round. Media just drives me crazy. I shouldn't let them get under my skin. That round is the Colossus round, by the way, from Black Butterfly. They've got an awesome selection over there of ammunition for the 450 Bushmaster and the 458 SOCOM. So those are the two new contestants that are joining the CMMG Anvil and the Wyndham Weaponry 450 Bushmaster today. The 375 SOCOM from Tromix and the 458 SOCOM from Tromix. I'm really excited about these because the technology is getting to the point, and people's interest is getting to the point where more people want to focus on it and spend time with it. And that's always good. The more interest there is, the more ammo support there is, the more platform support there is. And look what happened to the AR-15, almost obscure 25 years ago compared to today. Today, everybody's got an AR or 10. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please click like, share us with your friends in your vast social media universe. Subscribe to the channel so you get a notification when we upload something, if it's something we can even upload on YouTube. The best way to follow what we're doing is to subscribe over at full30.com. And because we kind of anticipated this new social media problem, we've been uploading parallel on Full30 for 2 years now. So we've got over 100 videos in the cache at Full30, and everything we upload going from this point forward will be at Full30 as well. And because of those new community standards of YouTube, we're not going to be uploading a lot of those videos here because they want to take the channel right down. We might upload a quick teaser to tell you what we just uploaded at Full30, and that way I can reach all of you who have been kind enough to subscribe here at YouTube, and now YouTube won't allow you to see what we're doing. So we're going to give you a path so you can follow what we're doing anyway. Please visit us over on Patreon. It's a neat little community that allows you to be a little bit more active in what we do on the channel, and it helps us recover some of what the larger social media sites have stripped away from us that allow us to get this information out. And check us out on Facebook. We've got conversation going on all the time over there at facebook.com/guntestvids. Till next time, have fun and be safe.